Welcome back to Skyrim mod comparisons. So in today's video I'll be looking at two popular weather mods. One of them's only just recently emerged, and that's Pure Weather, by the same author who made the fantastic water mod, Pure Waters. And it'll be going up against Climates of Tamriel, which is a huge mod that's been around for a very long time. I'll be approaching this one slightly differently. Instead of doing direct comparison shots, which won't really get me anywhere, because when you install different weather mods like these, the weather conditions change. So there's no way I can compare rain to rain, because when I go into the game, the rain will be gone, just the way the mods work. So I'll briefly go inside of the game with the mods, walk around for a while and record bits of weather as they happen, and I'll talk about how the weather changes and what kind of weather you could expect on a daily basis when using the mods. And just as a side note, Climates of Tamriel does add interior lighting as well, but I won't be focusing on that because Pure Weather doesn't add it. But that's one thing to note: if you're looking for interior lighting as well, Climates of Tamriel has it. I've used both of the mods for a very long time. I downloaded Pure Weather as soon as it came out and I've been using it ever since. And I've been using Climates of Tamriel for as long as I can remember. And these mods also hugely affect outdoor lighting. That's one of the main features of them, so it's not just weather, it's also lighting, so keep that in mind. So with that being said, let's talk about Pure Weather first. So Pure Weather, like Climates of Tamriel, is interested in creating a very realistic environment in terms of weather and lighting. And I'm pretty sure I don't even need to go into details to how terrible the vanilla lighting and weather system is. Well, I guess the weather's not all that bad, but it could definitely do with some improvement. So the mod comes in two versions. There's a realistic version, which is very, very dark nights to the point where you can hardly see without a torch. They're pretty much essential. And then there's the Brighter Nights edition. For the sake of this video, I'm going to use the Brighter Nights, since it's impossible to see in-game, never mind on YouTube. So the first thing you'll notice when you install it is just how clear it looks. And also the sun glare that comes with the mod, which is also optional. It's got a very nice sensitivity and you can see things for miles, and it's very clear, and the lighting is almost tropic in a sense. It's not too over the top though, so it's something I could cope with. And in some ways, in this kind of weather, reminds me of an EMB. Of course, as you get towards sundown and as you get darker, it becomes extremely dark, even at around 6 to 7 o'clock. But the darkest is around 11 to 10, and then it is totally pitch black. But if there are auroras in the sky, you get a lovely luminous glow, which really helps you see around. With this mod, nights depend on the weather during the day. So if it's sunny during the day, it won't be as dark at night, and if it is rainy and foggy during the day, as you can see here, which is very nice during the day because you get a wonderful fog that basically means you can't see anything in the distance, and they get the patters of rain, it will be pitch black at night, and you won't be able to see anything at all apart from lights in the distance, and even lights in the distance become hard to see. Now keep in mind, this is the Brighter Nights edition of the mod. So I think my favourite thing about it has to be the ENB look you kind of get when you have sunny and clear weather. There's just such a nice look outside, especially around 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock. You get a fantastic look most of the time. And I love the way the weather can change, just like in real life, extremely fast. You could go from being really bright and sunny at 8 AM to, tipping down with rain at about 11. So it's a very realistic time change when it comes to the weather. It's not too drastic. You don't go from a full-blown snowstorm into a thunder and lightning into full sunny day. It doesn't happen like that with this mod. I should also mention that I'm not using any textures at the moment when I'm recording. It's the textures that I used are actually the ones that come with Pure Weather. You get textures for rocks and I think some bits of dirt and ground, but not for roads or anything like that, so you still want to use a texture pack, but you do have to read up on the installation instructions in terms of textures if you want to use textures. I do really like the rocks and the dirt, and I'd probably only manually install maybe a road or something like that from another mod. So yeah, that's Pure Weather. I'm hugely impressed by it. I've been using it for a lot recently, especially for the last few videos I've been wanting to record. I'm just loving the look of it. So now we'll move on to Climates of Tamriel. First thing I'll mention is the fact that there are interior lighting modules for it. They come in the options when you go to install the mod. I'm not using any of them in this, and I'm not talking about them at all. I'll mention them in my conclusion somewhat. as sort of an advantage towards the mod is that it includes that, but this is mainly focusing on outdoor weather and lighting. Now this mod is much more customizable than Pure Weather. When you come to install, you can choose between dungeons and caves, vanilla, hazardous or hardcore in terms of lighting. You've got 8 night levels that you can choose from, so you can have extremely dark, or you can have vanilla, which is basically floodlit. You can change what type of interior lighting you want, and it also adds loads more things like ambient sounds to Skyrim. I'm not going to go into the sounds too much since it's mostly a visual comparison, but they are there and you will notice them in the game. If you are interested in all the audio and that kind of thing, there's plenty of in-depth reviews of Climates of Tamriel by itself all around YouTube, so just look around and it won't be too hard to find one. So at first glance, you notice that it's not as vibrant as Pure Weather straight away. It's a little bit more realistic and a little bit harsher than Pure Weather is. And if you thought it was harsh like that, it's extremely harsh when it's dark, and especially dark when it's raining and foggy, and it's got a very nice bleak atmosphere, as you'd expect in a Nordic country. So this mod is just about as immersive as it gets. When I slowly go up the hours in the night, you can see that it gets darker and darker, and you do get some really nice auroras and you get some lovely scenes. One of the best things about it as well is the sun. The sun looks amazing with this mod. You can of course replace it if you don't like it, but I think it looks very good with this mod. It just seems to fit the world perfectly, and especially with the rain. The rain is exceptional on this mod, a lot better than Pure Weather in my opinion. So when I installed it, I tried out 3 different night settings. And the first one is not too bad. You can see pretty much, clearly, and you wouldn't have much trouble navigating at night. Now the second setting is nowhere near as bad either, but you do need to bring the brightness down in your game in order to experience it. And if you're using something like simple borderless window, you're going to be in for a shock even on the default setting, because that basically puts your brightness down to the lowest. So playing this mod in simple borderless window is pretty terrifying. And then of course you've got the final setting. Even with a torch, it's impossible to see. Even if you put the brightness up to full, you can't see a thing. So this is if you are extremely confident that you won't die. You will die, it's almost certain. You literally can't see anything. It has to be less than half a meter in front of you or you can't see it. Which is realistic, but to the point where you don't really want it in a game for normal play. But if you're doing one of those Iron Man master difficulty hardcore playthroughs, it would be amazing. But of course that kind of thing's not suitable for my videos, and most people probably don't want to do that kind of thing. So overall I think Climates of Tamriel is just better. But I've been using it for a very long time, so when I went back to it from Pure Weather I was surprised at how good it was. I'd forgotten really just how good it is. But Pure Weather is something new. I want to use it for a while before I make my decision if I want to switch back to Climates of Tamriel, but for now I'm enjoying Pure Weather. It's a nice change, and also it's a bit brighter for the videos, so it's a little bit easier for me in terms of lighting. When I was using Climates of Tamriel I was using borderless window. It was a bit of a trouble with the Let's Play where I had to keep adjusting the brightness, and it was just becoming a lot of hassle per episode trying to sort it out, so I think Pure Weather will sort that out for me quite nicely. And also if you want a more vibrant feel in your game, not too much, not like an ENB, that like a fantasy ENB, it's just a nice touch that's realistic but still nice and vibrant. You get a lot more colour, and Climates of Tamriel is quite bleak, but that's realistic. But some people don't always want realism, so really it's completely up to you. So yeah, let me know which one's your favourite. I'm really mixed. I don't know what to choose in terms of a favourite. I know Climates of Tamriel as a mod is better in terms of more features, more options, those kind of things, but Pure Weather is yet again another fresh look at the game, which I always like. After a few months you always want to have a new look to your game, because otherwise it does get fairly boring looking at the same bleak weather all the time, so a bit of vibrance is always welcome for me. So that is it for this video. If you've made up a decision for yourself and you have any input, please put them in the comments. I'd love to read them, as always, and I'll reply to any questions you have about the mods. Links to them both are in the description of the video, and while you're down there you might want to check out the Skyrim mod comparison page and see if there's any mods that you would like to suggest. You can post them there, and I'll get around to them as soon as I can. At the moment I'm focusing on huge mods like these, but small comparisons of not so popular mods are always welcome too. I've done them in the past and I will continue to do them. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another episode of Skyrim mod comparisons.